Hey, Kyle, it's Robert from Mobile.
Give me your quick assessment of Jalen Milroe.
Oh, this last game, of course, not impressed. It's again, we know you can throw the deep ball when you have time. It's
Mm-hmm.
but unfortunately, deep balls are what are low called low percentage play because
Mm-hmm.
they're low percentage. So your money is made underneath your 10 yards, your 5 yards, your 15 yards ranges there. That's where all the money's made. That's where you move the chain mover, the game manager type throws. That's what I need. That's what we need now. Calling someone a game manager isn't a bad thing. That's where the majority of quarterbacks spend their time
Mm-hmm.
managing the game.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't need the hero balls, deep balls. So they look great. All those deep balls yesterday that for touchdown look fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, they'll come few and far in between. The majority of passes are going to be in that mid range. So until he cleans that up, man, it's okay. There's a lot of work left to do.
Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle, it's Andrew from Douglasville. Milroe, I think Milroe played really well. I mean, obviously he threw some deep bombs in that first half. I just think he was a little bit hesitant to run at some points. He held on to the football a little too much sometimes. So I think if he doesn't see his first read or second read, he has to get rid of that football. He has to use his legs. He's been holding on to it a little too much, which I'd rather him hold on to it than throw a pick. But then, if he holds on to it, he's going to take a sack. So that's not good. So he either needs to use his legs or throw it away. Other than that, though, I thought he did pretty well.
Adam with the super chat and frustration, clearly. First of all, thank you for the super chat. Says Milroe stinks. He looked lost in the second half. The O-line is fat and slow. The running game is inconsistent. We lack intangibles. And I'm tired of hearing players saying they're learning and growing, not our year. I think this is an important point because the frustration level for Alabama fans is at an all-time high. And I get it. So Milroe, that second quarter that he had, I mean, it was beautiful, right? Like the bombs that he threw, so it was a later part of the first quarter when he hooked up with Kobe Prentice. By the way, it was nice to see Kobe Prentice, outrun those defenders. And he finishes 7 of 10 at halftime for like 215 yards or whatever. And then the second half, it was a completely different game, right? I mean, he was inconsistent. He was 2 of 10. And those are the things that contribute to Alabama not playing 4 quarters of football. And that's very frustrating. I get that. And it continues to be something that a young quarterback is dealing with, and he has to turn around and he has to play 4 quarters of football if Alabama really wants to make a run. I know he does. I know the coaches do. And it's a consistency deal. Hey, Demetrius, what's up, man? Thanks for joining the show.
We getting what we see from Jalen Milroe. Can he progress? Yes. Can he regress? Yes. And of course, I'm always stay positive and optimistic because I've been an Alabama fan since George T. stripped Lamar Thomas in the 1992 championship game. I'm not gonna never doubt him, but hey, what need to be cleaned up? If it ain't cleaned up by now, whether it's an offensive coordinator, primarily on the offensive side of the ball, defense, special teams are holding their end of the bargain up, and that's. I mean, like I say, 3 years in a row. I honestly can't believe this coming from a Nick Saban team.
Oh, Kyle, this is Chance from Georgia.
Now we go. Thoughts on Jalen Milroe? What's your take?
Dude, I've been a big advocate for him since he came. Just because I was always a huge fan of Hurts. Just because I like a dual threat quarterback because. That was the things that always used to drive me crazy about Tua, and that's why he always got hurt because he takes sacks. I mean, but I don't understand why he's not taking off. There was another show somebody was talking about. They think he might be hurt, like he might have pulled a hamstring. Now I know that I don't know how true that is, but I just don't understand. Like, he knows his speed. He knows what he can do, and I just do not understand. If Jay Daniels can do it, God, man, I hate that guy. It's just his whole demeanor, his whole stance, everything. But anyways, I just think that that was going into the season that we could hang our hat on that too. That hey, if a playback's down, Milroe can go and get it, whatever he needs to get. But he just hasn't done it yet, and I just don't understand why.
Hey, what's going on? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
It's Mike from Austin, Texas. Jalen Milroe is getting better and better. He's trying to become a real quarterback. What I mean by that, a drop back throwing quarterback, not run first quarterback. He's trying to become a real quarterback. And, the question's being asked a couple of times of why is he running more? Why isn't he running? Mm-hmm. What that comes from, in my opinion, is first things first is do not throw interceptions. That's the first thing first. Interception will lose the game, like the Texas Longhorns game. Do not throw an interception. That's first things first. But by the time he realizes that there's nothing there, nothing's open, and he's not going to throw the ball, but up because he's not going to throw an interception, then it's too late to run it. If he would have tucked it and run it, 3 seconds earlier without checking down like a quarterback does, he can run it. So if it's a quarterback run call play where a quarterback's designed to run the ball, I think he'll do good. But like I say, just Milroe's getting better and better and better, trying to become a real quarterback. And apparently he's got a good deep pass. But he needs to get his mid-level passing better, his 10 to 20 yards. And he makes the clutch throws. Like in this game we've seen Saturday, I think BAMA had to get a first down, and Milroe made the throw. But he's capable of running. But like I say, first and foremost, do not throw interceptions. And by the time he realizes that the defensive line's on him, then he's got nowhere to run. He's getting better and better. That's my thoughts on Milroe. He's got a couple of big games coming up here next 2 or 3 weeks, so we'll see how it plays out. But whether he can take Alabama to the promised land, to the big championship game, that's yet to be seen. But every week he's getting better and better, though.
Hey, good evening. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Thank you very much for being patient. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle. This is Mike from Kentucky. What's up, brother?
Mike, what is your what is your take on Jalen Milroe?
I mean, he had an off day. He ain't a polished finished product yet. I tell you what though, he brings his long ball every game. And that's been a saving grace for him. He's still a work in progress. He's only a sophomore. We can't forget he's only a sophomore. He's got the intangibles. He's going to be all right. I think he'll have a good day against Tennessee.
This is Malcolm calling in for Opelika. With Jalen Milroe, everybody keeps saying he got a good deep ball. Yeah, when the wide receiver wide open, who couldn't have one? Every time he throws a deep ball, the wide receiver is wide open. And my thing is that's not always gonna be there. And with him, like when it comes to the crossing routes, like Prentice and Bond, they reach into the sky to catch the ball, and they wide open. Like just dump it off to them, and that one just gets under my skin with Jalen Milroe. Like, and he's like he has no awareness. Like when he take a sack, it's like, yo, you didn't feel that? How did you not feel that pocket collide? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, he don't have that Bryce Young thing to him, like, can make somebody miss and all that, Mm-hmm. But, people killing me with, he can throw a bomb. Yeah, like I say, every time he throws it downfield, the wide receiver is wide open. I mean, wide open. Kobe Prentice was wide open. Jermaine Burton wide open. Everybody's just open, and that's a good thing. But sometimes, like when you play a team that's gonna play at their 100%, that's not always gonna be there. Mm-hmm. You got to throw somebody open. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So those are my two things. Like the left tackle spot. Like I don't know. It's like that could be the downfall. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like you can tell that Jalen Milroe is trying his best to process things.
Oh. My assessment is this. I was watching there's a show on ESPN on SEC. It's called I don't even know what it's called. To be honest, I don't watch many college football shows. I just don't want to get other people's ideas in my mind. So I don't read other articles. Right. I don't watch other shows just because I'm a content creator myself. So I want to make sure what I'm saying is authentic. But this morning I did watch. It was a SEC show where they broke down Alabama and Kentucky. And one of the guys brought up a good point, and this was on the Kobe Prentice touchdown. And he said that Arkansas on that particular play was in cover 2, and the safety came in and took away the center of the field. And what that allowed was Kobe Prentice, who was at the slot position, was able to get downfield, and he was wide open. So it was what he was saying was it was a good read from Milroe, but a really good play on Tommy Rees to be able to beat that. So it was kind of like Tommy and Jalen were working together to establish that connection to Kobe Prentice. It was an interesting take to see it from their perspective. I think that, teams are going to continue to challenge Jalen Milroe to beat them, whether it's intermediate passes or whether it's deep ball, because they still don't believe that Jalen can beat them through an entire game. And I feel that teams are going to, they're not going to respect Jalen Milroe until he can display, against a good defense that he can be consistent. And then at the same token to what you said, I don't think Alabama has the offensive line to necessarily help foster that continued growth that he needs. So it's tough because he is trying and he's not forcing balls that he has to into defenders' arms. And he is taking some sacks, which he does need to get the ball out of. And just this offensive line isn't what we're accustomed to. But I think, he is getting better. And that's tough to say after he went 7 for 10 in the first half and 2 of 10 in the second half, right? You're just it's the inconsistency of a young quarterback. And that's what's, you think about even next year. And you're like, okay, well, is Jalen Milroe going to be the guy next year? Because I think a lot of people are like, well, you have Julian Sain coming in and he's automatically going to be the guy. That hasn't always been the case here at Alabama. Remember when no one wanted Mac Jones to start and they wanted Bryce Young? And Nick Saban sat Bryce Young. He barely even played that year. He threw 8 times or something like that. So, look, I mean, it's going to take a while. Probably a lot longer than we want for this to come together, or it might not at all, and they might just keep winning. That's why we've been also saying too is this season is about survive and advance. There's no the other rat poison that we're starting to talk about playoffs and stuff. It's who cares, man? Just beat Tennessee however you can. Period. Just beat them.
Just coach from Khalil.
Hey, what's up, Coach Daniel? I appreciate you calling in, man. Your thoughts on Jalen Milroe?
A good football player, a good quarterback. I feel like people looking at Alabama of what they're going to be next year. This is Milroe's first year. This team is they stay young across the board. Mm-hmm. But what we fuss about and complain about this year, Bama going to be better next year. Mm-hmm. People, they never seen Bama have a down year or a year they were building. This is a rebuilding year for them. Last year was the year they supposed to make a playoff run, championship run. Mm-hmm. This year's a rebuilding year. And I feel like Milroe has played good to me. He playing good enough for the cards he's dealt. If you don't play spade before, you can't complain because you don't get no trumps. You just got to play the cards you're dealing. And like I said, it's no easy play for Milroe. Everything for him is drop back pass, no rollouts, no stretch plays, no. It's like everything is drop back. You got a guy, you got a Ferrari, and you scared to use it. I ain't never seen it before. You ain't gonna take it to the track, man. It's no. I seen one read option play with him. There's one. Then he got 5 yards. They stopped running it. It's like Reese got too many toys to play with, and he don't know how to work with them. He really don't. So for me, Milroe has been a good player for Alabama. The best that they got. Now he's not the guy, Penix Jr. or Jalen Daniels. But for what Alabama trying to do, Milroe's the guy.
Donna's asking about Jalen Milroe because there is a rumor going around, or people are asking if there's some sort of injury with Jalen Milroe, that he has a minor leg injury, and I would assume that would be something with his hamstring. Look, I think we've all kind of heard that, but I'll tell you what, there was a play in the first quarter against Arkansas where if somebody didn't tackle Jalen Milroe by his leg, by his foot, Jalen Milroe probably would have had a 90-yard touchdown. Do you guys remember that? Like they barely got him, and we were about to find out if he was going to pull up for a hammy or if he was going to run for a 90-yard touchdown. So the thing about Jalen Milroe is he's different in the sense that his best attribute is north and south as a runner. It's not so much side to side. Now, Bryce Young wasn't necessarily fast north and south at all by any stretch. Now, he could get out and he could pick up first down, but side to side, that guy was like a ninja. He was quick. He was super quick. So they have different, they have different attributes in that sense. So sometimes you're like, why doesn't Milroe, avoid those sacks? That's not really part of his game plan. Like his is like, if it's open across the middle, he's gone and you'll never catch him. But like side to side, that's just not his style.
Yeah, my name is Ralph. I'm from Pensacola, Florida, but I'm calling from Denver.
What have been your thoughts on Jalen Milroe through 6 games of played? Alabama's played 7 games, but he's played in 6.
I feel like he's not playing up to his potential.
Mm-hmm.
When the pocket is closing, you got to learn how to step up, and that's his biggest problem. The sack. And when he gets sacked, we're talking about, with 3rd and 15, you know what I mean? We're losing like 7+ yards on a sack. The quarterback coach needs to coach him up with that. I feel like our line is holding him long enough, but he is sitting in a pocket excessively too long. If you don't find a target, you need to run, period.
What was the bright spot of Saturday against Arkansas?
The bright spot was the first half.
Yeah.
We played phenomenal. What we have a problem with playing. So I would say if we come close to losing, it's always the third quarter that is, hunting us. We like to, for some reason this year, we like to come from behind. And win that way. I don't know what our obsession with that is, but we're liking to come from behind on our victory.
This is David from Louisiana.
Thoughts on Milroe? Average
quarterback. He does have his moments where he does shine, like his long ball. He is accurate at times with his long ball, but overall he's, I say, a little bit above average, not much.
Hey, what's going on? Thank you very much for calling in. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Kyle, what's up, man? This is David from Nashville. I'm not some guy who played football my whole life and knows everything there is to know about football. And I think that's to my advantage because here's what I would do. I would maybe call some run plays that are really successful to say like Jamarian Miller and Jam Miller and Justice Haynes, and instead of just handing the ball straight to him and have him run right into the middle of the bunch, I might pitch him the ball and then watch him run around the edge. And I would see like, wow, this is really working. And in my ignorance, I would go, well, I'm just going to keep doing that. and it probably would never occur to me to stop doing that and then say, well, you know what I'm going to do instead? I'm going to have Jalen Milroe just drop back, stand, survey, and then try to make a dead point accurate throw across the middle of the field. Now, call me crazy. That's how I would handle it. But I don't know much about football. But apparently I could get paid like $1 million and something because somebody's getting paid a whole lot of more money than I get paid to make decisions that, to me, common sense says these are the things that need to be done. Now, I'm admittedly being tongue-in-cheek. Tommy Reese knows far more about football than I'll ever know in my life. But I do think sometimes you can outsmart the room, is my point. And I'm sure he's a great guy, and I think he's probably going to be a brilliant coach. And I think sometimes he makes really good decisions. But there are other times where I'm like, hey, buddy, if it's not broke, just don't try to fix it. Sweet mother of pearl, just hand it to Justice Haynes and let him run down the field. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, if you do the math, Tommy Reese, guess how much he's getting paid per month? Does anybody know? Sign off in the comment box.
I don't want to know.
83.
Because I don't feel like throwing my phone across the
the bi-weekly on that is, let's see. Yeah, the bi-weekly is $83,000 every 2 weeks. That's what he's getting. Right? And Sark was getting 75. So, I mean, yeah, these guys are playing at a different level. I mean, I think that when you look at this offense, it has to start from running the football. And then, that could free up some of these deep balls that Alabama's doing. We haven't really seen that much creativity. We saw it kind of a little bit against Texas A&M with like a jet sweep to Amari Niblack. Coach Daniel did bring up a good point. There was a key moment in the game where Jalen Milroe was able to find Amari Niblack, and then he found him kind of on that tight end route. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but basically what Alabama did, and this is actually credit to Tommy Rees. So Alabama actually started the formation out with Amari Niblack as an eligible receiver, but then they shifted over, which made Amari Niblack an eligible receiver, and that's why when he caught that touchdown pass, he was unaccounted for because of the defense. They didn't understand that he was eligible to catch a pass. I thought that was an interesting point. So good to get Amari Niblack involved. I think there was a super chat in here that I wanted to get to because it asked a good question. I'm with David from Nashville. I appreciate it. I was round out the show. Why so much pressure on Jalen Milroe? This is a great question, and think about it. All these guys are playing on Sundays, right? Bryce Young was the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. You have Tua Tagovailoa, who's balling out with the Dolphins. You have Mac Jones, who's barely surviving with the Pats, but he's still playing in the NFL. And you have Jalen Hurts, who just took the Eagles to the Super Bowl. So those are the quarterbacks that most recently left the University of Alabama, and that's where the standards are at for the quarterback position. So that's why it's so highly scrutinized. Every single program, right? We talk about the quarterback, but specifically here, those are like the guys who are on the quarterback wall of the most recent Mount Rushmore. Those guys, I mean, look, I get it. Yeah. People love Coker. People love A.J. McCarron. People have great respect for, you can even go back and Jay Barker, who won a national championship. But most recently, what those guys did at Alabama, those guys are the top quarterbacks, right? I mean, Bryce Young, he's in the first pick ever. And people were like, well, he's not the best quarterback. He was. He's the best quarterback. He went number 1 in the NFL draft. Look at all the records that he put. All right, fam. We're going to call it a night tonight. My name is Kyle Henderson at Bama Football on YouTube. Thank you very much for joining us tonight right here on the show, Bama Football on YouTube. Be sure to become a subscriber. I will catch you back on Monday with tons of content. We got Coach Saban at 12 p.m., followed by player interviews, and, of course, more content scattered throughout the day, whether that's YouTube Shorts or just videos that are uploaded. So make sure to hit the bell so you guys are notified. Thanks for staying with me tonight. 2 hours and 15 minutes right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Appreciate all you guys, especially all the super chats as well. And thank you to our fan funders. You can become a fan funder by hitting the join button at the homepage of our YouTube channel. From beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Kyle Henderson at Bama Football on YouTube saying good night.